and I welcome everybody here. My name is František, and I'm coming also with my colleague Tomasz. We will do the brief introduction during this presentation, and I'm very happy to welcome you on today, the last webinar of this year from myself and from our team from Prague, Czech Republic, regarding the ION and the cloud integrations to unlocking the full potential of the Infor OS. So without any delays, let's go straight to the topic. I would like to introduce myself. My name is František. I'm from Columbus Global Company. We're situated in the Prague office in lovely Czech Republic. Quite windy, quite cold right now, but still very pleasant. And I would like to hand it over to my colleague to introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, František. My name is Tomáš Myslivec. I'm the team lead for our development team here in Prague, and I also work as a technical solution architect for our cloud customers in the recent years.
Amazing. Thank you, Tomasz. So before we move forward, just a couple of information for you. You can ask any questions during the session. We are trying to monitor the chat to get to the answers at the end of the meeting. We are also trying to respond in the chat directly, or also we can do it later via the email. If from some reason we run out of time there, because there will be great topics to discuss, feel free to reach out. You can see the contacts below on the screen, and the recording will be available after the webinar. A little bit introduction about us. Very quickly, we are the part of the Columbus Global Company, who is the largest independent Infor M3 partner in the world. We are having more than 350 customers worldwide, having more than 20 years of experiences within the M3, both on-prem and cloud, with the global coverage of the M3 consultants. And we are one of the most certified M3 partners in the world. So this is where we are coming from. We are really coming from a strong base of the knowledge, also from the cloud and the new technologies. And I believe it's very good to give a little bit introduction about us. Because the strong statement for today is that build it right from the start. And when we have been talking through the campaign of these webinars about where does the most important part of your cloud journey, or basically any upgrade journey of your M3 system starts in, it's never just the topic which is the most important, because the topics itself always go beyond what we are talking about. And especially for the integrations, it really goes beyond just the integrations, because what the integrations are doing is that they are trying to interconnect the data with an actions with a final product or delivery, which can then solve multiple purposes. So it's really important to also think about in this purpose that it's not only about the technical execution, it's about the quality of the data, because anytime you do the integration, you are taking the data from A to B, you are trying to transform them, you're trying to have an added value. But it's still like, if the data are somehow not ready for what you are building to be on the latest and greatest platforms, that's what we're talking about today, you can get into a situation when you are still not fully satisfied and you don't know why. And what this is having a direct impact is also for the user experience, because it's both the users which are working with the system, but also the users which can be on a third party, on the integrated platform, or the final users on the e-commerce, where they can see maybe some product which is perfect or some product which is a bit, imperfect. And all of these, especially on the cloud, have also impact on the consumption and cost. Because if we have the integrations which are very much respecting the platform limits and are built to be future-proof, it can really reduce the cost and the consumption, because they are very smart, they're respecting what you need, and they're not really using anything which can be obsolete and not needed. And lastly, and I believe is the most important part, where all the customers are going to cloud, that's the reliability, because you need to be reliable about what you are doing and why are you going to cloud and when you are doing all this kind of stuff. So, talking about this, I will hand over to my colleague Tomasz to tell you more about these amazing upgrades.
Yeah, thank you. This is the basically start of our plain analogy that you will see around these slides that we are having for you today. This might not be relevant for all of you, because some of you are maybe on cloud already and you just came to look into how you can utilize it a little bit better. But for some of you, this might be the airplane on the ground, sort of. It's very functional. You've been working on it for very long. It's very familiar and really customized to your needs. How you have developed your application to your business. But it might be that you are feeling a little bit locked in where you are now and that you cannot get anywhere. From type, we can move to the next one. So we are starting, before we go to the details about integrations, we are starting with looking how potentially you can go about the upgrade to cloud. There are many paths to do the cloud upgrade, but only one can deliver a true cloud value. Thank you. Yeah, so we are starting with a technical one-to-one upgrade where you would just try to get to a cloud as soon as possible without, trying to change how you do things and how you use the system. Try to have it as familiar as possible, which might be really hard. You might be getting pushback from Infor, from the vendors. It's not that easy to do everything, and that you might be looking at other things. So we usually suggest at least a hybrid approach where you can already look on what of those tools or applications integrations that you have on premise are not perfect for you anymore, as they were developed probably a couple of years ago, and select those that you would like to improve it. Have a look and see if you can really do it with cloud, sort of pilot cloud in how it can serve you. And then the last approach you can take would be a full transformation, where basically, you are not rushed into going into cloud. You have very stable environment on premise, and you have all your security patches. You have everything. You can work as you want. So you can take the time and safely, securely start getting ready to cloud as a full transformation. Look how you would transform your current solutions into more up-to-date, modern architecture solutions using the most recent technology that Infor has to offer. This is how we sort of imagine. Sometimes it can look like going to cloud without trying to do improvements. You might get to the clouds, but you might be carrying unnecessary technical baggage with you, stuck to you for a long time, until you finally decide maybe it's time to replace it with something newer.
Yeah, and Tomasz, I'm having a question here. If we can make a stop for 5 seconds. I know that these pictures and analogy, they are great, but they look really unrealistic. Have you seen any customer who really tries to lift to the cloud with all the baggage, and at the end of the day, they really end up in a situation when they are saying, "Why have we done this? Because it makes no sense."
Yes, this is unfortunately something you can see. We always try to, of course, bring our value into this, but you will, I'll have a reason why we sort of why we think this is usually happening down the road in the next slides.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. And here you are really, this is where it comes to when it is cloud. So it, the value it can bring you, it comes when you also try to transform yourself a little bit. It's not on, it's a little bit different perspective than what it used to be on premise. Now we are really looking at a cloud platform that's been developed for years, and a lot of different customers have been given input to Infor for enhancement requests and how to improve the system, what they need, and you can do the same basically. And this is bringing everyone to the next level. The basically you are a M3 user community here, and you are the same thing for Infor when you reach out to them. So they treat the customers. If you have a valuable input you need from them, they will help you, but you also need to be a little bit flexible, I think, in how you approach it.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you very much for the analogy. And what I really like on this, how you are presenting it, Tomasz, that I believe everybody can understand how it looks like when you are having the very basic plane with one motor, one pilot seat, and that's it. And you need to transform into something such a complicated, as traffic control with all the planes being, in the air or over the time, when you can't really be the one always sitting in the middle and having everything under control. You really need to lift yourself to use the available tools. Like there's the great analogy with the autopilot. I really love it. So if we talk about the value creation process, that's where I would like to spend a little bit of time here. Is that we've been talking in the beginning, we will talk about the integrations, but the integrations are part of the whole value package because going to the cloud or being on an on-prem, you're having available a platform, let's say something you can really utilize to very maximum because it has been built as a part of the Infor OS. You are going to use it for connection of all your system. So it's not only about the project itself, because if we would like to give an example how we approach it, is that we need to cover all the aspects of the business developed from beginning. It's not only about, and you may see on the bottom in the blue part, that's the project. But there is a lot of which comes into the project, and there's a lot which comes out of the project. Because you moving to the cloud and start using a very complex platform which gives you the new opportunities, you need to also take this into consideration since very beginning. Because if you're having the strategic direction and you prepare a select what is the most important and future-proof state for you as a business, then you can get the correct advisory and change and governance to make sure that you are having the correct program, you are having the correct quality assurance, you are having the correct risk management, etc. So you are all of a sudden looking on that we are not only changing the technical platform, you are changing the philosophy how the technical platform can help you to expand your business and your company. Because if you take it from very beginning, you're also starting to think about, okay, but if we go for a cloud, what's the value creation? What can bring as an innovation? Automations. Can it bring any optimization of the value or the cost, for example? And how we can potentially utilize it. So what we do is that we go through all this roadmap, all these like idea map, where we start in the beginning but we are looking at the end, and that means like how we can evolve the project or the projects. Is there something once we are done and it will open some opportunities for us, or is something where we can start rethinking how we operate on the platform even before we start with what we are doing? We can get rid of the old slow systems, we can improve the response time, and everything can be taken they can take into the consideration, sorry, since the beginning. Because if we are looking what value can you gain from transforming in the cloud, well, we are having four main direction, but in the middle you can see there are people, because the people working in the system, you as a company, your amazing employees and your amazing business partners are working with the platform, and you can have multiple directions how it can expand the people, let's say, view, or the way how you can utilize the platform to bring new business, new opportunities, open new positions, having new approaches for the same thing. And if you look on the different direction, I would like to talk about every single one of them, because the first one is the efficient operation. You can have predictable cost model, you can have the improved availability, you can have the enhanced scalability, and you can be cost efficient because you can be bundling the solutions, you can be bundling the licensing, and the platform itself, and we will be talking about it later with Tomasz, is that all of a sudden you don't need to have third-party solutions which are connected to your core system. All of a sudden everything is then in Infor OS. You can take it as a part of the cloud suite, you can start using all the native platforms, you can get rid of the unnecessary licenses, and you can have it very predictable. Because if everything is on the same platform, since the same solution, you can have really improved availability. You are not dependent on some third parties giving an update, you are not giving an update, etc. So this is very important. The operation is the backbone. If you look on the other part, there's the compliance and security, because the intrusion protection and the redundancy has to be on the top level. I believe you know it better than anyone else that if a company ERP system is down for an hour, it's amazing cost. It's like you are losing the money, you are losing the operation, people are making the mistake, etc. Getting into the cloud and getting into the platform and with the new integrations and the new solutions can make it a very security proof. Because with the improved solution design, it can be faster access to the new features, standardization of the calls, API calls, data synchronization. You can reduce the technical debt and you can simplify the expansion. And last not the least, you can get also the possibility that if you integrate the data, with such a complex platform, you can have connected to it directly to advanced tools, which are also available in the platform, with your data, which are available in the platform, and get the very rapid AI advancements, faster time to value, future ready proofing, etc. And very often, in the old point of view, you had a solution which you owned, you had to keep up to date, and there was a platform which was connected. But right now, you're in an ecosystem, and you don't need to think about these things. Because if we look on the final way how the transformation in the cloud could be, imagine you do a migration, that's the blue part, and it's the minimal changes, one to one. But all of a sudden, you do the pre-study and start using the info process catalog to guide the solution design, start changing the things. But if you go a step further, all of a sudden you can see that there's a value assessment, organization changes, management. And the last thing is that you can evolve the services for the integrations and continuous innovations. So now you can see that if you do a very little steps, they can bring a huge value, how you can perceive what the solution can bring up to you. So there was a little bit about where we see as from the business perspective the value added with the platforms and with the solutions when they are used from a very comprehensive point of view. And right now I would like to hand over to Tomasz again, because I believe we're getting to the bone of the today topic, and let's go for it.
Yes, thank you, Franta. And I will start, I think, with the answer to your question earlier you had about those stairs attached to the airplane in the air. I think this might be the reason for some of those cases. Here we are saying you do not take off in the middle of the storm. I think it's, very, from our experience, we want to help get you to the cloud, but in order for you to get there, and really have a good time there, I think it's right that you consider it when your business is in the right shape, when you have enough resources, and so on. And I will, yeah, if you can move to the next slide. Yeah, and here's what I wanted to talk about, right? So when is the right time for you? So I and for change management, right? Prepare your organization. This might be a very stressful time for some of your employees. Meaning going to cloud can mean, oh, suddenly we don't need any infrastructure when it comes to IT. So what's going to be happening then? Be mindful of your colleagues. But also for those that will stay with you and will be needed in the project to be part of the design process, they will really need to have time. I know everyone's super busy these days, and if you don't get to have them enough time to do this, you will struggle and you might end up in the stairs attached to your airplane. Again, time-wise, allocate time for testing as well, prepare your organization, build it robust, and get ready to get the people through for the new opportunities that it can bring to you. The other thing when it comes to running the project then is to build a realistic expectations. Make sure you run through your list what is very important for you, what is the most critical of your processes that needs to be designed, and make sure ideally that you get them off the bucket list in the project in the first place, so you can have then a safe and sound flight and undisturbed by any turbulences of major criticality. uh, as we always suggest, create solid structure and documentation. It's not only getting the things specified, but also once they are created, especially the integrations, it can be quite a lot of components, different applications talking to each other. Make sure you have steps how to deploy the integrations to the next environment once you are ready, and then your deployments to production once you want to go live will be as smooth as possible. And the third bit here is have a good plan. Try to build a plan realistically. Saying how much tension it brings to your organization, to your systems, and everything. Make sure the people will have time. They will be well rested. Try not to put it on a day after a month end or even after a major holiday.
Okay, so thank you very much, Tomasz. And what I would like to add is there, it's always good to have a holistic approach about your integrations and what you are having with your business in focus. Because if you look again from another example, how we see the project itself, it's always we go with the defining of the project, executing the project, and then go for evolve phase when you're trying to utilize the maximum potential of the platform you are getting into. Because if you look on how it goes from the top, it's like there's a cloudless strategy very often with the workshop, getting all the inputs from the people, from the technical side, from the vendors, third-party integration partners, etc., in order to make sure that you are correctly prepared for the cloud project or the we always sometimes call it the platform lift, because maybe you are on a cloud but you want to re-implement the platform. You realize that in a couple of years it really evolves so much that all of a sudden the existing solutions are obsolete and you would like to get touch on the latest and greatest. So that's when you start really thinking about how to do the project, and then you go and you operate in the clouds. And it's like with a plane, like you always spend a lot of time on the making sure that the plane is in good condition, the maintenance, the planning. It will be used for 100 people, 300 people. Are you going to do the transatlantic flights, or you are doing it just the local flights, etc.? So these are all the small things where you need to really see where's the direction. And by the way, there's amazing tool you can use, especially when you're trying to get on board with the cloud, or you're trying to move there, and being understanding where you're starting and where you can get it there. Because there is amazing Infor cloud readiness assessment, which can bring you a huge value in order to understand you have been many years stuck on the land with the plane, and you would like to lift off, but you maybe don't know what you don't know. And by the way, the great advantage is that if you look on this, it can directly help you to build the cloudless strategy and help you to get much better. But I believe that everybody is waiting for this moment, and sorry Tomasz, but I can't keep it and say it how to get into this topic. We're going to talk about the ion, and I heard today a very great sentence, and I immediately put it here together with Tomasz. In our world, technical people, the ion is the enforced best kept secret. This is the backbone of the Infor OS. We believe really makes the M3 Cloud Edition the great way it is. So I will hand it over to you, and I believe this is something you are excited about to tell more to the people.
Yes, thank you, Franta. Yeah, and that's why we have it here, the ion with the dot in the end, because I think that's all you need pretty much when you go to cloud, when it comes to your integrations and automatization within the system. You don't need expensive third-party software to be handling your traffic, your messages, transformation, communication with all the other applications. Ion can handle it all, and I'm saying this to Infor all the time, like, you need to promote Ion a little better than you do. I think it's a great platform. We've been working with it for years, and I mean, every challenge we come across, we are able to sort it out with it. So I think that's for something that you didn't have in on-prem, running with enterprise collaborator, of course, Mac, and for those that remember that or know it, right? So you had to customize a lot of things, but here you can just do it from the box. You have all the components you need. You have the AON API gateway as well to help with the communication to other systems. And I think we can look on the other slide here. Thank you. And it really will, the Ion itself and all the connected components, they will keep easily help you keep your data synchronized and updated across your systems. Of course, you have to look at whether you are building asynchronous or synchronous integrations here. In the past, it might have been a little bit different architecture from my experience. But when we are looking at Ion as a way of modernizing your solution, we strongly recommend to transition towards the more asynchronous way of handling the integrations, event-based business object documents, BODs. If you haven't heard about them, it's good. Infor has done a good job about promoting them. But those are really just out-of-the-box messages, structures, mappings for those that know Mac, that can pull you data basically day one. You can just turn it on and it will start sending at least some data out of your system, which it's just by default. I think it feels great going there and start playing with it. You can see what it does, and then you can start, if you have the data right, then you can start already designing the integrations, which can be quite time consuming to get them from design across development, testing, hopefully without too many iterations, to the right end. Yeah, we strongly recommend leveraging the Ion to connect your systems. As you can run multiple queues, you can use IMS queues, you can use API gateway, you can call to a database, folder, SFTP, you name it. All the connection points you would want are there, and you can also build workflows to instead of integrations, more to help your business automate and build really something that will help them to get where they need to be in their day-to-day life, um, without having to go there and automatically clicking through multiple screens in M3. This can really be a game changer for a lot of your employees, a lot of your colleagues. And the last bit here is the optimization towards the not critical data, not time critical data. So utilizing the data lake when you can, either if you want to replicate the data to a data warehouse, you can use the ETL tool or any other tooling that you might like. But for integrations, if you are doing daily incremental load, there's no need to really be asking M3 to do this. If you have out of the box, again, data lake, basically a replication database for your service there.
And Toma, if I may ask you another question before we go for the more information. I like to put here the sentence with the salespeople always like to do, like the cloud is opportunity to modernize and optimize your whole integration strategy. Do you agree with that statement, or how do you see it from your side?
Yes, absolutely. Compared to the competition, I've seen we can handle basically anything, handling the queues, replies, and so on, which usually you wouldn't get in Mac, for example, or some of the integration platforms I've seen.
Oh, that's great. So I'm very happy we are having here something which is not just a sales statement, but it's reality.
I'm very confident in Ion. It can handle a lot.
Okay,
If
thank
you make it right. Yeah. To our use cases, I really wanted to point out the two that would be it's not only as I've already mentioned, the integration platform, but it can be also automation platform for your business. So really that's the kind of future that is now, instead of in the future. So this is something that we were always talking about. Things will be getting automated in the future and so on, and now we are here, we are making huge automations for our customers. You can make notifications distributed to your homepage and make sure that everyone knows what to do with it. And you can also have solutions that just remove the administrative tasks of maintaining items across multiple warehouses, if you have them, for example, and so on. So I mean, this can be a major time saver, and it's important though to be thinking the way, like, okay, this is really taking us, and that's come to the preparation phase that František was mentioning, right? Like, analyze also what takes you a lot of time for your users to do, and can we make this better? Like, just ask, right? Like, the right question, like, this is really taking us a lot of time. Do we really have to do it this way? Because a lot of times the answer will be, yeah, well, now you can use a new technology that is coming in a couple of months release from Infor, for example, or can be custom built if you want. Yeah, the part is the enabling the real-time data sharing and visibility across the enterprise. So you can really now, with possibility to also share your workflow status into data lake. The data lake there really stands out, I think, and also the Ion, of course, sending the BODs and or transfer messages to other systems at every time, being it mainly the asynchronous design. We can you just have all the applications updated up to time, and that's nice. You don't have to wait on your web page to call an API of a system and get it back. You already have the data there when you need it at hand, basically. Yeah, we can go to the next one, I think.
Perfect.
Yes. And this is my favorite bit. Now we are going to the cloud value enablers. We have 7 different cloud enablers here mentioned, where we are sort of, presenting the technology to get you a little bit to, when you go to the clouds, you are flying the new plane that you want, right? So beginning with the modern integration framework comes down to what I was already saying, so no need to repeat all that. But really, we see it as the control tower of your whole system. It's really managing can manage your M3 data lake. Of course, you can also IDM, something I didn't mention. You can really manipulate your documents. You can make sure all the other applications or people that need to work with the documents are up to date, can be provided to tools of your choice. Of course, it can write into databases, where if you still want to go the classic send a message to a database and write it there, and maybe do a procedure to parse it, still possible. And of course, it is highly scalable, so you can use your WMS TMS systems where you need a little bit maybe high response time. You are looking at cloud hosted scalable architecture, so the downtime is really not happening. Those timed out services or anything like this. Usually, just you are running on multiple nodes in the architecture anyway, so this is running just I think wonderful. And of course, for banks, you have a lot of stuff from Infor already prepared. You have those standard GEMS packages, basically, that you can share your credit note documents immediately to a bank of your choice. There's a really big list of integrations that are already prepared for you. And yeah, I think that's here what we have for Ion. Then the standard APIs or the API gateway here. I wanted to mention that standalone because even though I am talking about event-based and asynchronous integrations a lot of the time, I'm also well aware this is not always the case, that it can go this way. And for the cases where you want to use APIs, you have them. All the Cloud Suite applications, pretty much, they have their APIs. Of course, M3, you can call the M3 APIs from outside. You can call IDM. You can call any application that's in there. Pretty much, you can do a lot with the API gateway and get the data you need. But to get the data even a little better, we suggest to always use the API flows, which enable you to, instead of doing 5 subsequent calls yourself from your external application towards M3 and creating unnecessary traffic, you just contact an endpoint of an API flow that basically knows that you transition the information to the API flow, and it gathers all the information from M3, for example, or other applications as well, in the steps that you need it to, parse it together, and replies to your application all in one single response. So you don't have to overutilize the communication. You build it efficiently, and you build it with how it was intended to work with, right? Instead of having, and I mean, this is all pretty much standard out of the box. Again, something you can use. Of course, you have to do a little bit of building when it comes to the flows. That's for sure. But it's still better than flying all the way around with custom integrations. One developer taking completely different approach on one kind of the integration, and then maybe a couple of years later, it's completely again a different approach on the next one. So here it's more the cloud is really bringing it together. We have the technology there that's specifically designed to use what it's supposed to, and we don't have to import anything custom to serve that purpose. Then the data lake, I couldn't mention it enough times. I think already it's just I think it's a great addition to it. It was just basically what was missing in on-premise. We've been dealing on-premise with a lot of data replication to through iSeries or all other solutions there are. We can do it, of course, but with cloud you have it out of the box. You turn it on and it's there. You can run your queries. You of course need to be aware of not overutilizing it. There are certain limits you can do with it, but I mean it's still great. It keeps your history of the records, so for audit purposes, field audit trails and so on can be used. You can, as I mentioned earlier, you can store ion progress information into data lake as well. So any BI of your choice, you can connect to this as well. Data Fabric is there, of course, for you out of the box from Infor if you want to use that one. But if it's not your BI of choice, you can get the data somewhere else, and the data lake is the storage where you will be taking them from, because you don't want to be accessing, and neither you can't really efficiently access the M3 database itself. And this is just, I think, really nice. It still holds the M3 structure, so any reports that you have built on your on-premise BI will easily stand in the data lake world once you upgrade, with just a little bit of time on them. Then we have the controlled updates, something that Infor has been now running for years, and we see it every couple of months or basically constantly now with the incremental upgrades. They are pushing new features, new releases all the time, which might sound scary for some customers, but I think there are ways how to approach this in a safe manner where you really know what will be changed, and there are ways how to help this. But I think it's more important to look at it also from perspective like, okay, this many improvements from Infor for free, pretty much just having the application. I don't think that's been ever the case in such a big scale when anyone was on premise. I think, and this is the trend that they have set, right? So also, like, we are aware maybe cloud can be has some limits, of course, everyone has. And but if there are some, you can certainly address them through enhancement requests towards Infor. Bring it up to the user community we have here, which is wonderful. Have everyone vote on it, and I'm sure that will be picked up in no time and just get in there. And again, if you are here for integrations, well, there's been a lot of updates in the integration space, what you can do there. And a lot of technical people are filling in to Infor and saying, yeah, well, we need this, we need that, and we are always in a dialogue with Infor, and we suggest that you will be too. I think it's also the relationship, right? Like, it's not like it's your on premise and Infor is somewhere out there, but now you are in the cloud, and they are available for you to talk to them and give them your feedback, what you need, what you want. And if that makes sense, I think they will definitely consider it and bring it in. Then we have the security monitoring and compliance enabler here, and this is really just what František was mentioning, the cost that you might be saving with going to cloud. I think this is the biggest piece that I can always see is the infrastructure security. You can basically drop that whole thing that you have been handling in your on premise. You just basically hand it over to Infor and Amazon while they are running on the AWS, right? And they are the best in business. The AWS, they will make sure that this is really top notch. It's patched at all times. Whenever there is something new, it really runs smooth. There are no holes in the network, because that would be a disaster, right? And I think they are very much professionals. I think they haven't been any leaks or anything like this. And really, it takes the whole stress out of you, out of your organization. It brings you also no time. This, given being it's on cloud, right? So they can just patch it, and they restart it without you even knowing it. You don't have to have a major maintenance window. If there's a major vulnerability found, you just get it fixed as soon as there's a patch for it. And I think that's just wonderful. Of course, from people perspective, also you are not having to focus on this, and you can focus on pushing the value of the solution further, right? Focus on more what we can do now with it, how we can utilize this to make our colleagues' lives easier. And then there's the application layer. I just also want to mention for security. So when you go into the cloud, actually, there's a lot of handling. Of course, you can connect it to your Entra ID or Active Directory, or pretty much the directories that are there. You have workflows to help you automate processes as you want, but you also have already a lot of built out of the box solutions that I was working as M3 administrator for quite some time, and I was missing a lot of functionality back in the days. And now I can tell you that the functionality I was missing, it's all in there. They have actually just put it in, everything I need there. They are just bringing it in with those incremental updates that I have mentioned, right? And those are just great things. They are, of course, also seeing the needs for API security inside M3. So you really, tie the loose ends, and you can just have a wonderful control over your system. And that helps for your overall user experience, right? No one's getting frustrated not having the right permissions and not having anything to do. I'm short on time, but we are almost done. This is good. This is another one, my favorite, user experience and collaboration. This is another of those, the future that is now. As long as I remember, we were always talking about homepages and all those different widgets that are there, but now they are really there. Like it's a huge library of what you have already there and what you can do with it. Basically, the M3 space as such, as you know it with the standard programs, or those that go to MoveX and those really days, and they know the names for those programs and functions and so on, that can all disappear now. If you have users that are just, they want to only see a couple of data a day, and they want to be clear on what they need to work in the day, you build a home space for them, they land there, and they can do anything they want from there. They can modify the data, read it, send it to someone else for approval, get it back. All it can be done, and it just looks very good. It can be scalable now to a bigger size of screens as well, and it can be also used on our mobile phones, which I think is just a leap forward from where we used to be, right, on premise.
Good. Thank you very much, Tomasz. I believe that this has been very detailed and very much into where we are really trying to grab this topic, is that all of a sudden we see all the possibilities, and just like it's not only we have a good integration, but we have a good platform which is connected to the data lake, which is a great tool for getting all the necessary data. And all of a sudden, when everything is hosted within one platform, one system, one let's say unified structure, the possibilities are endless. And what I would like to do is that I would like to take a comment for the last value enabler, which is the future readiness. Because all of a sudden, you can be sitting in a cockpit of your ERP system, and it's up to you what you want to turn on. It's like, because you are using the Infor OS, the Ion platform, everything is outside the box, everything is compliant security wise, also the technology wise. You are using the same standards. It's up to you if you start to be looking or industry AI agents, or you would like to have it more with raw, let's say, the processing, robotic processing automations, or the AI copilots. You can decide I want to have it more scalable because I'm on a platform which supports all the workflows, API flows, gateways. I can think about the continuous innovations, or I can just look at the sun and see, okay, what is the next future-proof technology which can be connected to the platform and where it can be updated in the coming 6 months. So when we have been discussing this topic with Tomasz, and thank you very much, Tomasz, for such a deep dive, is that's what we said at the beginning. Integrations with such strong platform are not just integrations. It can help you to connect everything you are doing today in a different way, that all of a sudden you can see the benefits, not only now that you are having it easier, less cost, etc., but also can bring you to the future. Because how we see it is that the cloud suite with the Ion platform and all the opportunities is just your innovation runway. Because as we are using the analogy with the plane, like your engines are running, you have the data, you have the system, the crew is ready, all the users are being trained, they know what to expect. Then the only limit you have is that you get to the clear sky and decide the direction. And that's why we feel the analogy is so strong, because all of a sudden we don't have the limits. We don't have the limits of the platform. We don't have the limits of the connection, the standards. We don't have the limits about the storage and the computational performance, etc. And it's up to you where you will bring it to. So this has been the last slide we prepared for you today. And I don't know, Tomasz, if you would like to add something like a final word, because you are more technical than myself. I just love the platform, how it looks like, but I don't really understand how it works. So maybe you can tell what about your feelings about this.
No, I think I have mentioned everything I wanted to already when it comes to the technology and how innovative it is, and it will be. It definitely is looking better and better, every month, pretty much. So we have a big trust in this, and we hope that you will also enjoy working with Ion and all those integrations.
Okay, amazing. So we still have a couple minutes of the time, which is great because there was the intent. We would like to stop the presentation here and be very happy to hear any questions you could potentially have right now, because we have time to answer them. And I will stop the presentation. We will be looking at the chat with Tomasz to see if you're having any. Just to wrap up the presentation part, if you would have any questions, please feel free to connect with us via the email on the Teams. I'm sharing the contact information. If you're interested to start a collaboration with the Columbus in the America or the North America region, please contact the Caroline Board, which is our vice president for the M3 in the United States. And if you are not having anything else, which I believe I didn't miss anything, we will be looking at the chat. Please share the questions, and we will be here for a couple minutes. Um, I hope it works. I see that Loring and the Pete have been posting to the chat, so I see it's working. Uh, Now is the space for you. And again, if all of a sudden you are having the stage fright, that you are have nothing on your mind right now, but I know how it goes. You close the meeting and you'll say, "Oh, I had a great question. I should ask it, etc." It's really okay. You can ask it anytime. So, we'll give-
Also, with integrations, it is a lot of the times in the details, really deep in, right, to dive into the certain topic that you are struggling with. You know where to find us. Reach out, and we will be happy to help you, of course.
okay, good. I see there's a questions from Federico Almeida. Can you see Tomasz as well? I
Yes.
I can read it out loud. The ION integrations with LSP, the localization platform, and the text connectors, according to the new e-invoicing, what is happening at Infor?
Yes, I would definitely need a little bit of help of our financial consultants, but as far as I know, basically Infor is releasing there's standard EDI messages. There are also the FBM messages that are there out of the box. So Infor is trying to keep that up with their most recent standards as they can. We are, of course, utilizing those. Sometimes it might be that we need to modify it a little bit, but usually it works quite good.
And that's the great part about when we are talking about the integrations and how the ecosystem works, because uh, having the info process catalog as the start of your journey, having the packages and out of the box readiness for the integration and IO APIs, it really brings a value that you don't need to build everything from scratch. It might seem, what I heard, Tomasz, quite tough for the customers to change the status quo, because all of a sudden there is something which was really tailor made for your company, but it doesn't mean that is the best solution which is available in out there in the world. So
Everyone was used to build everything from scratch, and now you have stuff for waiting there for you. So it's kind of a change
yeah,
there. Yeah.
that's a big shift. That's a big shift. So I'm not seeing any new questions coming in. So what I would do, I would like to finish the presentation here. I would like to really appreciate, Tomasz, your help and your time you put into the presenting together with me today. I would like
Thank you too.
to thank the audience that we started this campaign of the data archiving migration integration since May, and we are at the end of 2025, and this is the last webinar. But definitely stay tuned. We discussed with the Loring, and the whole team will be very happy to prepare something new and fresh for the next year. So stay tuned. The news will be coming, and at this point, I would like to really thank you for your time. Please enjoy the lunch if you are in the US time zone. Please enjoy your evening if you are on the other side of the globe as we are, and we will hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tomasz.
Thank you all.